Okay, we're going to bring this meeting of the Board of Directors to order. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Roll call. Mr. Barletta.
Here.
Mr. Bonomo.
Here.
Mr. Chapman.
Here.
Dr. Childs.
Here.
Mrs. DeCosmo.
Here.
Mr. Kubitz.
Here.
Mrs. McBride.
Here.
Mr. Szymanski.
Here.
Mr. Zeller.
Here. We had two executive sessions, one on October 16th in regards to contract negotiations, personnel and property acquisition, and on October 24th in regards to personnel. Public comment
Yes.
on agenda items only?
No. 3 minutes all total? No, give us 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
going to split them up.
Okay.
Thank you. Number 44, I just want to know the salary. 44.
So this one would be based off the teacher's
Correct.
contract, based on the level of education.
Okay, thank you. Number 71, is the school board conference in Atlanta on this list? And who is going if it is? Number 71.
Yeah, the conference is on the agenda for approval, and we're not 100% sure exactly who's going yet, but that'll be addressed.
Okay. Number 124 to 126, I would just like the salaries for those positions.
Number 124 is in the teacher's contract, so that would be based on the level of education and probably step one. Number 125 is part of the Act 93 agreement, which is, it mirrors the teacher's contract, which again would probably be bachelor step one. However, in the teacher's contract, the years of experience a person has could be added to that to give them more years. And number 26 is removed. 126.
Okay, thank you. Just one last thing for now. Number 125, what school is that for?
Building liaison.
Dr. Petty, you want
Arthur Street and the Academy.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else, Mr. Barletta?
Yes.
Huh? No, I'm sure you don't want to. Good evening. I just have some questions about number 69. And first of all, thank you for looking into the issue up at Heights and trying to come up with a solution, because it is a major issue. But I just have some questions. So by putting in a parking lot, are you absolutely sure that it's going to solve the problem?
No. And here's why. Because what needs to take place is our parents need to stay in their vehicles long enough for their children to come out and get to them. And what happens is there's a backlog of cars if they're parked and the parents get out and they wait for their children. It's the school itself is actually, lack of a better term, vacated within 18 minutes. And that's pretty quick for as many students as are in that building. Obviously, the middle school students come out first, and then kindergarten comes out a little bit later, and then progressively the other grades come out. So that's what really needs to happen, is our parents need to just wait patiently while their kiddos are coming out. The traffic has been changed, the directions have been changed up there a little bit. What the parking lot will do is take all of the cars that are parked in front of the school, teachers, any employee, and put them in that new section. And then that provides a two-way street for parents, visitors, what have you, to come in front of the school and leave in that direction, in the opposite direction.
But they still have to go into the parking lot and out of the parking lot, which isn't gonna help the traffic. Getting up to the school, you know, where concern was brought up, you know, like, what if something were to happen in the school and emergency vehicles would have to get in? You can't even get in because the roads are all blocked with cars. So, I mean, have you considered maybe like buses to eliminate some of it, or?
We've talked about it, and I believe, well, they were taken off.
I mean, I just know that when, my
Yeah.
kids went to school there, and yes, it was 30 years ago, and there was maybe 800 kids there when I was on the PTA back then. But the majority of the kids were bused, and you didn't have the disaster that you have in that parking lot.
If I could interrupt, Ms. Thurso, so if you remember, I don't have the exact
15 seconds
year.
remaining.
We could extend it. We received a grant called Safe Routes to School.
Right, and you
And
did
if
all
you
the
remember,
sidewalks
we
on
did
Sanders Avenue.
sidewalks, we did blinking lights, we did crossing guards up there. So with the establishment of that grant, we were supposed to try to widen the area of walkers. That was the whole point of receiving the grant. And obviously that reduced the amount of people that we needed to bus there. So now, as you know or may not know, this school has over 1,200 kids, Doc, am I correct? Which is by far the largest school except for the high school.
Right.
So.
There's
and
just too
again,
many cars,
there are.
and there's just not enough room.
And that's the issue, and we did talk about busing. It's not really a cost issue per se. We estimated about $60,000 a bus is what we projected it to cost. We don't know if that will work, because there's a lot of buses you'll see going around with 30 kids on it when Missy and Joe have that bus fully loaded with people. So it's not a guarantee that'll work either.
I guess we'd have to ask the question, Betsy, to these parents, why are you dropping off and picking up your kids? Is it because there's no buses, or because?
It's not even only parents, though. I mean, when I take my grandchildren to school in the morning, I mean, there are taxis, there are
Right.
Ubers.
But-
There's people that pay the Spanish van
Yeah,
that bring
but
12 kids
why?
at a
Is
time.
it, why? Is the question, is why they do that? Is it because they just wanna do it, the kids don't wanna go on a bus? Or they feel I'd like to know what the answer is, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are they doing that? Is it because we don't have buses, or they don't wanna go on the bus, or I guess we'd have to ask that, try to get the answer to that question, would you agree?
Is there a way to do a survey maybe or something?
Could you stop them every morning and ask them why they're
Well,
there?
I mean, you could send something home to parents and see
Yeah.
if they, if they answer. I just don't want you to waste money.
No.
Well,
If it's
we
not
could
gonna
always
work,
use more
and then-
parking up there, I mean, you know that, we could always use more parking up there.
I mean, and here's another
But
good.
by what they did do this year, you know, by having the teachers park in that far parking lot, I must say, I mean, you can go over that school during the day, even after school, in the morning, as the kids are going, you can park in that parking lot now. There is space.
But we're trying to eliminate the parking from that front lot, which is the whole purpose, correct? I mean,
Right.
that's.
So
what we're
number
doing.
No, I'm saying
69.
if you're going to the school,
Yeah.
you are able to now at least find a parking space to be able to go in, which the past 2 years, you couldn't do that.
I mean, what we're approving in number 69 tonight is only the temporary fix. It's basically just
Yeah.
laying rock down so cars can park on top of it, and we can do some kind of plowing if, we get a large snowstorm. So for $25,000, we're gonna be able to see if this works before we go to the big project of making it a parking lot with lights and lines and all that good stuff.
All right. Just asking, thank you.
And Betsy, thank you so much for your efforts on that playground and your team and Mr.
Yeah,
Shatter and
Yes, yes.
that We
Well
commend-
did a
and we-
great job with that. That came out really
And
well.
we are getting a fence.
Mr. Barletta, anybody else?
Mr. Szymanski, you stole my thunder.
No.
It's on the agenda.
On some.
Okay, we need a report from our student rep, Faith Russo.
Student Council organized a collection of supplies for victims of the recent hurricanes. The response from the students, faculty, and staff of all high school buildings was overwhelming. Tony Colombo, the Hazelton Helps organization, and the Keystone Job Corps picked up the supplies today for delivery to North Carolina and Florida. The HAHS World Language Department hosted the first annual Penn State University Application Day. Over 75 students completed applications assisted by admissions representatives from PSU. Students in Mrs. Bergallagher's and Mrs. Fetterman's literacy strategies classes were treated to a magic show today at HAHS. The presenter was Tony Baronio, a magician and retired Hazelton area school district teacher who graciously volunteered his time. The presentation aligned with our current workshop, which is centered around the focus question, how do we know whether we can believe what we see? Throughout the semester, our lessons will explore visual perception and the brain's ability to process information received from the eyes through stories, videos, writing pieces, and debates. Mr. Baronio tailored his presentation to complement our At First Sight workshop. A fantastic time was had by all. He even taught them a magic trick. Trunk or Treat will be held this Saturday, October 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. in the student parking lot. The event is organized by the class of 2027 and sponsored by the class of 2027. The public is invited.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Faith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Okay, I need an approval on the board minutes for the regular board meeting on September 26th.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second, Linda and Jeff.
Motion by Mr. Cosmo, second by Mr. Kubitz. All in favor of approving the September 26th school board minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
I need an approval on the treasury report for September 2024.
Motion.
Second.
Linda and
Mr.
Jeff.
Cosmo, second by Mr. Chapman. All in favor of approving the September 2024 treasury report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Okay.
Dr. Uplinger.
Thank you. Just to reiterate, and we want to thank the Heights Terrace Elementary Middle School PTA on the new playground, so thank you very much for that. Great job. Looks beautiful. We do have two items to remove, item 114 and 126, as Mr. Krasansky had mentioned earlier, 126. So 114 and 126 are being removed. A couple other items that'll be revised as we go through, and then I will let you know what they are when we get to each item, as I do each time. And on page 1, under curriculum instruction, Career Center, approve items 1 through 12 with one motion.
One motion.
Second.
Eddie and Joe.
Motion by Mr. Szymanski, second by Mr. Barletta.
Item number 5 should read, recommend board approve the yearbook club to host the Powder Puff football game for the class of 2025 on November 15th, 2024 at Harmon Geist Memorial Field, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. The alternate date for the game would be November 14th, 2024, in the event that a playoff game is scheduled for November 15th of 24. And item number 6, because it's in the group, recommend board approve payment for our annual script spelling bee. The revised amount where it says total cost, discount at a total cost of $1,487.50.
So, any questions on items 1 through 12?
On the FYI, since this is part of the curriculum and instruction, can we get copies of the Occupational Advisory Committee meetings? Now, there's one for each shop, I believe, and also the local advisory committee meeting that will be held on November 7th.
Dr., are you asking for
Can we get copies of the minutes?
the minutes? Okay. I wasn't sure if you were looking for committee members or minutes.
No, just the minutes.
Mm-hmm. I'll speak with Mrs. Herman.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions on items 1 through 12? All in favor of approving items 1 through 12 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Under special education on page 3, English language, ELD, federal programs, alt ed, approve items 13 to 21.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Chapman, second by Mrs. DeCosmo. Any questions on items 13 through 21?
Whether number 14 and 15 look so much alike. Looks like we're paying two different companies to do the same thing.
Item number 14 is regarding any type of, we don't like the M word around here, mold situations, so they were remediating any situations regarding that. And then number 15 is the actual cleaning, like carpets and
And I
desks
believe
and
14 is
windows
a
and-
one-time thing, Dr.
Correct.
Childs, and 15 will be an ongoing, weekly, Mr. Mahala, monthly? That's daily. Daily. Looking better.
And then the new item number 21, what is the Teen Truth, what are the Teen Truth Assemblies?
Dr. Zukoski.
So we had this last year, and it's honest and inspiring content, covers things like bullying, drug abuse, self-esteem, family communication, and it features real-life student stories about overcoming adversity and learning to accept self-negative consequences of vaping, dealing with social media, drama, and discovering the truth of leadership.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it, Dr. Zagowski.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor of approving items 13 through 21 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
On page 4, under security, approve items 22 to 27 with one motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mrs. DeCosmo, second by Mr. Zeller. Any questions on items 22 through 27? Okay. All in favor of approving items 20 through to 27, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Under nutrition, transportation, approve items 28 to 39.
Second.
I'm sorry, who made the first? Mr. Barletta first and Mr. Chapman second. Any questions on items 28 through 39? Okay. All in favor of approving items 28 through 39 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Page 5, facilities capital projects, approve items 40 to 42 with one motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bonomo, second by Mrs. DeCosmo. Any questions on items 40 through 42? All in favor of approving items 40 through 42 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Technology, approve items 43 to 45 with one motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kubitz, second by Mrs. DeCosmo. Any questions on items 43 through 45? Being none, all in favor of approving items 43 through 45 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Student activities, athletics, extracurricular, approve items 46 to 48 with one motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. DeCosmo, second by Mr. Kubitz. Any questions on items 46 through 48? Okay, all in favor of approving items 46 through 48 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
On page 7, under finance, approve items
Motion.
49 to 69.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Chapman, second by Mrs. DeCosmo. Before I get to questions, tonight we have Ryan Huntenstein here from FSL Public Finance regarding item number, sorry, I should have this out. The borrowing. Item number 55. Do we have any questions or Ryan regarding, this will be our third borrowing for our third GISA phase of our project? You all good with that? Okay. Any other questions on items 49 through 69?
Statement, if I may, on number 56. I have been very vocal about opposing most LRTA resolutions. This represents something different to me. This represents a high-tech alternative to what we've been seeing by way of factories coming in. And I hope that it will serve as a magnet for bringing professionals into the area, for increasing the living standard for the whole area. So I will be voting yes for this, despite my previous very vocal opposition to LRTA grants.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Childs. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor of approving items 49 through 69 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Kozatsky, I abstain from item 63.
Noted, Mr. Zeller.
Oh, may I, on number 69, I apologize. I'm running behind and turning my sheets here. On number 69, I have lots of questions left that I would like to get answered before we deal with that. Mrs. Durso brought those to the table. I think that is very correct. I think some simple surveys of people at the school in terms of what they would do by way of using buses would perhaps be preferential to increasing parking spaces. So I would like to move to table number 69.
We have a second on the table, number 69.
I'll second.
Okay. We'll do a roll call for table number 69. Mr. Barletta, table number 69. Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Bonomo,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Yes.
Dr. Childs,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCosmo.
Will this have any effect though by,
So
if we take?
here's the issue of why we were trying to do this now. The winter will be coming, and where we're asking these teachers to park to resolve the issue that's going on in front of the school, that grass area could get a little ugly
Yeah,
there.
I know, because I know
So
what happened
we
across
were
the
hoping to
street.
try to hit this before winter. Hopefully, our next meeting is November 20, that's right, the Tuesday of Thanksgiving.
What, who made the recommendation to table this?
Dr. Childs.
Why, Doc?
Because I think that I talked to the 3 past principals at the school, and I've talked to one parent, grandparent that has spent a lot of time there in the last 20 years. And the comments from all of them was that busing would be a solution to the problem, that parking lot, 2 of them said that parking lots might be helpful, but would not solve the problem. And I think a simple survey would provide us, Eddie, with the information we need to know whether or not people would take advantage of increased busing.
Just a point of
It wouldn't
order.
take long to do a survey like that.
But
I'm
in the
sorry, a
meantime-
point of order. Now that a motion to table has been made and seconded, it ends discussion, it should be voted on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right,
Could I change my vote on the table?
I'm no.
You can withdraw it.
I withdraw my yes and say no.
So there's still a motion on the table, is there a second?
So the motion was by Dr. Childs. Do you second the table?
I do.
Okay. So we'll start over. Mr. Barletta, to
No.
table? No. Mr. Bonomo?
No.
Mr. Chapman?
No.
Dr. Childs?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCosmo?
No.
Mr. Kubitz?
No.
Mrs. McBride?
No.
Mr. Szymanski?
No.
Mr. Zeller?
No.
So I believe we did vote on items 49 through 69, and it passed unanimously with an abstention by Mr. Zeller on 63 and a no vote by Dr. Childs on 69.
Correct.
correct?
Okay. Need a motion for item number 70 to pay the bills?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. DeCosmo, second by Mr. Kubitz. Any questions on any of the bills? A through N. No questions? All in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Page 11, Superintendent of Schools, approve items 71 to 78 with one motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by
Me and Jimmy.
Mr. Bonomo, second by Mr. Chapman. All in favor of approving items any questions on items 71 to 78? Being no questions, all in favor of approving items 71 through 78 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
On page 12, approve items 79 to 91 with one motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kubitz, second by Mrs. DeCosmo. Any questions on items 79 to 91? Okay, being no questions on 79 to 91, all in favor of approving items 79 and 91 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
On page 13, approve items 92 to 109.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Chapman, second by Mr. Bonomo. Any questions on items 92 to 109? Being no questions, all in favor of approving items 92 through 109 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Page 14, approve items 110 to 122 with one motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. DeCosmo, second by Mr. Zeller. Item 114 is removed.
Correct. And item number 122, letter D, should be Dean Mastangelo, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. Mastangelo. Dean Mastangelo for elementary music.
Any questions on items 110 through 122?
Yes, comment on 119. We're looking at a turnover of 8 paraprofessionals. We're about a month and a half into the school year, and we already have 8 turnovers. Amongst the new hires, we have replacements for those individuals. But the turnover is significant, not only in terms of its numbers, but in terms of the fact that you don't even get a chance to train these paraprofessionals before they're out of here. And I find that to be very disturbing. On number 122, I will continue to follow with my policy of not voting for any person that has a blank 24 hours before the meeting, this public meeting. So nothing against Mr. Mastangelo, but I will be abstaining from number D.
Okay. All in favor of approving items 110 through 122, excluding 114, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just abstain on 122D.
Noted, Dr. Childs.
Okay, page 150. Well, page 15, approve items 123 to 126.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kubitz, second by Mrs. DeCosmo.
Item number 125, the blank should be James Cannon. And item number 126 is removed.
Any questions on items 123 to 125?
Yeah, I'd like to just say on number 124, finally, this program that I've been fighting for the last couple of years is getting off the ground, and I hope our students coming up in the junior high level realize what opportunities they could have by going through this program to make a real good living. And I just hope it gets promoted right and the kids start to use it. And they, whenever, it's a good program, and I hope is a success. Thank you.
I'd like to compliment Mr. Szymanski for his efforts on behalf of this program. I think likewise it's a very definite positive for our Career Center, and I hope it works out well.
Okay. All in favor of approving items 123 to 125 with one vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain on number 126.
125.
Oh, 125, beg my pardon, I apologize.
Gotcha. Noted, Dr. Childs. That's it.
Right before we move on, are there any of our new family members in the audience? Nobody willing to stand up if you're out there? There you go. Thank you. Welcome.
Who are you? Congratulations. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Put some ropes around him so he doesn't leave. Chemistry is hard to find. Yeah.
Mr. Szymanski, a graduate of Hazleton High School, correct?
Wonderful. That's even better.
Spent some time abroad teaching. I'm grateful to have you join us.
Good luck.
And we didn't think, probably didn't think we'd call you out like this. No. Welcome aboard.
You can take your child.
Okay. Any non-agenda item?
Is there anyone in the audience that has any comments on any of the agenda items? No?
Tony?
Yes, any board members with anything, Dr. Childs?
So,
Yes.
you want to speak, right? Well, no, non-agenda items, non-agenda items.
I did, and I will.
I saw your paper in your hands.
I'm Janet Crenshaw from Hazel Township. And I've been coming to the meetings every month for the past few years, and as you all know, I talk about critical race theory, gender affirming care, DEI. I have a question about the banning of cell phones in school and age inappropriate books in the school libraries, excuse me. But I have a few questions now for the board. Now, as far as I understand, you, the school board, you're opposed and are completely aware of all these issues I've been talking about forever. Okay. And I understand that you're not in favor of these issues, and they shouldn't be incorporated into our schools, like critical race and things like that. No, maybe. I'm just saying. Okay. Now, I just would like to know if the school board is against males participating in female sports, and if that would become an issue, would the school board do anything, or is there any problem with that going on in the school? Not that you know.
Mr. Barletta, is there anything? No, we go by PIAA rules with that, am I mistaken?
Is that a PIAA rule that they can participate?
I don't know.
PIAA stands on is each individual school entity should decide their own policy. So it would be up to the Hazelton Area School District.
Okay, thank you.
Good to know.
We're not for it.
Good. I don't think it's a good thing. And at the last meeting, I questioned Dr. Uplinger about these canvas totes up here on the table with the numbers, and I was wondering if they were going to be implemented in use for the students to put their cell phones in before class so that there's better awareness and participation. So is that going to be implemented in that?
They already are.
They are?
They've been implemented for the last few years, maybe several, even prior to me. And just so you're aware, there is legislation on the table that will most likely be voted into law that cell phones in schools will be banned. So once that is approved, then we will follow the law.
Huh? I didn't know that. You taught me something.
It just passed the Senate, and so they're just putting the
What, the
final
Senate in
touches on it.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so hopefully they'll be the ones that'll put it through.
Okay. And the other thing I questioned about was the age inappropriate books in school libraries. And you had, Dr. Uplinger, you had suggested to me to get a list of books from a gentleman, and I didn't know who he was or how to get in contact with him or to go online and see the books. Well, my computer skills are bad. So I couldn't find them, and I was just wondering if there was still, if you could give me a site that I could go on, and I would look into that.
I can provide you with the list.
Now, all these questions I've asked you are issues that have been in the news, and they raise red flags with me, which results in me in addressing you guys about all of these things. Sorry. Critical race theory, gender affirming care, DEI, and the age-inappropriate books are usually supported by politicians and the big teachers' unions. And to me, it seems like in a lot of some schools, I'm not saying our school, that the children's education has become
15 seconds remaining.
Am I okay to keep going? I don't have too much more. Secondary to these indoctrinating ideologies. And the other thing is I'm just a little disappointed myself that after more than 3 years, month after month, me coming and speaking about these issues, that a lot of people are still unaware of some of these issues and what effect they have on the children. So I hope and pray that you guys at the school board, who have patiently listened to me month after month, will take the information I presented, incorporate it into the school district to represent and protect the children so they receive the best education they are entitled to, which in my years coming here, I feel that you're working hard on that. So in the next 12 days, as they say, the die will be cast, and whatever the result is, future monthly speeches will make no difference, because one party is going to exterminate the issues I question you guys all about, and the other ones are going to enforce them. So in closing, this is going to be my last speech. And I just want to thank you, or like to remind you that initially I took this task because of my grandchildren, and I am still strongly opposed to all these issues. But these things have changed, and I am concerned about every child in the Hazleton Area School District. So I thank you for allowing me to speak every month and letting you all know that I'm not sorry about doing it, and I don't regret it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time and for caring. Thank you.
And even if you don't want to speak, you're still permitted to come to a board meeting and enjoy. But thank you for that.
Is there anyone else in the audience?
Apologize for interrupting you, by the way. This is a mea culpa. I look back over the first 10 months since I rejoined the board, and I look at the things that I don't think I've done as well as I should have. And in particular, I have not been as careful with the hires as I should be. The way we do hires these days was quite different from the way we did it when I was on the school board previously. And I have not been as cautious in terms of critiquing the applicants' curriculum vitae. I've sent Mr. Rogers a note requesting his help, and he, on very short notice, has already started providing me with the opportunity to look at the criteria, the credentials, I should say, of those applying for some of the upper echelon jobs. And my pledge to the public is that I will take that very seriously, that I will be going back and looking at the applications of all who apply for higher upper echelon jobs in this district.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Anyone else on the board?
No.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
Mr. Kubitson.
Huh? Yeah.
No.